Good morning, this is Nick with Williams Sewer Line Inspectors performing a video inspection of the sewer line at 3840 Wade Street in Mar Vista. Right now we're at the, as far as we can push into the house, actually probably towards the back of the house right now, and what we're looking at is a cast iron pipe. This is the piping material for pretty much all of the underneath of the house. All that I can see, in any case. I'm not going to be able to see the branch lines, but I'll be able to see this main pipe here. And so far, this pipe is definitely older. It's an older cast iron pipe, but there are no root intrusions into it that I was able to see pushing in. It's a little bit of string and debris sticking to the walls, but really nothing that you wouldn't expect to find in a cast iron pipe of this age. This is looking to me to be about 50 to 60 years old. Probably has another 30 to 15 years of life left to it before it needs to be replaced. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell how thick the cast iron pipe is in any one location, just from a visual look from the inside. The only way to figure that out would actually be excavating the pipe and looking at it. So really it's not practical to give an exact estimate of how much time a cast iron pipe can last. So what we do base this off of is the average time, and what cast iron pipe usually is able to last for is about 80 years. This pipe, based off of past experience, looks to be around 50 to 60 years old, so I'm going to say that's the amount of time that it looks like it has left. There's definitely no failure in it at this time. There's no indications that we would get that would indicate failure. So far we're not getting quite as good a view of pulling back as we had pushing in, because there's some water in the line. But you can see that pipe is definitely older. This is the connection to the clay line here. It's just surrounded with some mortar and whatnot. Roots will be able to get in through this connection, and it should be routinely maintained, which can be done from the front yard, from the access. But this is, as you can see, the water comes out and flows straight down the clay pipe. It's not escaping the system. But just to sum up on the cast iron portion, it's really no way to give a guarantee on time that you have left with cast iron, but what we do know about it is that based off of what I can see, it appears to have quite some time left to it before it's in failure, and that it fails fairly slowly. A cast iron line doesn't fail all at once. It starts to allow a little bit of roots to come in, and then over the next 5 years or so it will begin to become no longer usable as a pipe. So it probably has a good 20 years of life left to it before it actually does need replacement. Here's a clay line. The good thing about clay is that it doesn't rust or corrode, and so it doesn't have a finite life period like cast iron does. Clay lines can last for hundreds and hundreds of years, as long as no exterior force causes a breakage in the pipe. What is meant by exterior force would be something like a large root coming into the pipe and cracking it, or an earthquake shaking the pipe up and cracking it. So far we don't see any cracks in the pipe. It's actually looking quite well. The joints are all pretty well lined up. This is the pipe that's coming out of the house. It's probably coming around the front door area, looks like, appears to be, and coming to the front access point. Access point goes like this. Check my written report for the location of the clay pipe. I'm a little bit curious. I think that there might have put an addition on the front of the house, in which case some of this clay pipe is going underneath the foundation, in and underneath the house. So just check my written report to see more information on that specifically. This is the access point that we came in through. This is a perfectly set up access point. There's this pipe here, which has a single direction. It just goes towards the house. And then there's this pipe here right next to it, which has a single direction as well. It goes just towards the street. There's the house right there. There's the street. So we're just going to go out towards the street now. These single directional access points facing each other are not that commonly done, but they are really the best way to be done, to get two directions from an exterior access point. It's really rare to see it, but the fact that they've done it does indicate that whoever did this plumbing addition or put this clean out in knew his stuff. Here we've got a little bit of a crack with some roots coming into it. That crack could easily continue to expand because of the roots which are coming through in failure. It's not, let me just make sure that this isn't something sticking to the wall. Appears to be a crack with roots coming in it. Towards the bottom where the water is going very much. It's a very small crack at that point. It's very unlikely that any amount of water is getting out of this system at this point, so I wouldn't recommend it be repaired at this time. Clay lines require maintenance to stay in a good condition. Now this crack here is in the flow of water. It does have roots coming into it, and it's at a point right now where I would think that it's allowing some roots to get out, or some water to get out of the system. This is one of the first things. It's of the lowest severity that would require a replacement, but it is allowing sewage to get, or sewer water to get out of the system. It's going to saturate the soil around the pipe. It'll do two things. It'll attract more roots into the pipe, and also it does to some degree contaminate the soil. So this is something that I would recommend be repaired. I'm going to locate this and I'll put it in the written report exactly the depth and where this is. Here's just some roots coming into the line. It's quite typical. Some more roots. I would say that how many roots are there right now is enough to warrant a cleaning at this time, but not so much that it should cause any alarm. The city sewer. That's only 55 feet from the point of access. The LA City sewer map shows this to be center of the street in front of the house. It looks like it's probably a little bit closer than that, just based off of my foot measurements. A little closer to the curb. This connection is very good. There's not even any real roots coming in through it. There's still some mortar in the joint, which is good to see. It means that the joint hasn't moved. And there's the city sewer there. So basically what we know is that there's just a minor crack in the system that should be repaired. I'll go ahead and put a green spot on it in the front yard. It might be in the city planter area. Other than that, the system looks to be doing very well, and it doesn't really need anything else at this time. The cast iron portion of the line, which goes all the way underneath the house, failure. It appears to be in a condition which has quite some years before it will be in failure. At that time, it is going to need to be replaced. There's no way to preserve cast iron to an equivocal amount of time to a newer plastic line. It just does eventually rust out and need replacement. At this time, though, it's not in failure. It probably has some good amount of time left to it. Again, this is Nick with Williams Sewer Line Inspectors. Thank you very much, and have a great day. All right.